Hey, what's up, everybody? Uh, just wanted to do some quick update and catching up with you guys because I haven't live streamed for the longest time. Uh, okay, so yeah, sorry for not ever being able to give you guys like a heads up when I'm gonna live stream, but yeah, it's been really hectic in a good way. Uh, like if you follow me on Instagram, I give regular updates on there on the stories. But basically, I'm just. I mean, last year it was just supposed to be me making connections in Korea by joining all these, tour organizations, government organizations, and I definitely did that. I know more people than I probably need to know, and I can manage with my time. And this year, I wanted to not have any breaks. I wanted to be basically doing jobs back to back to back. And being a beggar can't be a chooser kind of attitude. But it's already becoming very apparent that I need to be a bit picky because I have more jobs than I can handle. So yeah, life's been good for me. For those of you guys who think I'm gonna go back to Thailand, uh, yeah, I mean, it's that's becoming further from reality. Um, I had honestly every intention to sort of try to visit on a regular basis. Um, and still, I have plans to go back there and travel for long term over the winter. But things are just really great for me here in Korea, so that's even becoming less and less likely. I said I wouldn't sell my condo in Thailand, but now it's like I'm actually maybe considering maybe I should. The only reason I'm holding on to it is because Mayu is, sort of still planning on going back there. If Mayu goes back there, that's probably the main reason I'd probably go back there and, stay there longer periods of time. But just like on every level, Korea has been good to me, So I really have no interest in Thailand at this point. That being said, I wanted to just today, I wanted to actually talk to you guys about just catching up on some of the things I've said because they're turning out to be true. And I'm sorry to be the bringer of bad news, but the markets are gonna go down. This is bad news for not only just you guys, but for me as well. Because who wants to see the economy do bad, right? But um, there was like a really good. Let's see. I'm not gonna hear. I'm not gonna try to explain the macroeconomics of all of this, but it's something that I knew was inevitable. It's more inevitable and more obvious than when people were predicting the subprime crisis. Right now, just asset prices are ridiculously high, and it's not just as simple as it's overpriced. It's not. It's much more complex than that. We've just printed way too much money. The value of the dollar is worthless, and inflation just hasn't caught up. It's is if economics any like if economics theories in general exists, then it's inevitable that the market's going to crash in a huge way, and you're going to see that happening. um as far as explaining the details of that, there was like actually a pretty good YouTube video about this. I think it was Peter Schiff. He made a nice little summary of actually what's going wrong, although I don't agree with his necessarily agree with his advice as to what you should do, which is he advises that you should just go into high value stocks, like foreign stocks, value stocks in foreign markets. I'm not saying that that advice is gonna go completely wrong, but I have skepticisms about that as well. But um, he's able to summarize what's wrong with the market in a much shorter way than I can. So I just recommend that you look into that. I think it's like Peter Schiff. Um, yeah, why you should be like, I forgot what it was, but um, gold is probably going to go up though. But whatever the case, let's see. What does this mean to us? That's what I want to say. I mean, I've been saying for the longest time, uh, don't count on financial, what is this thing that you guys always say, financial independence. I'm gonna like save money so I could be financially independent. um oh, have you? Okay, Musa Kaseri. Yeah, I think it's a pretty viral video. I think it's relatively easy to see, but um he's able to state in far more eloquent terms than what I can what's very obvious. Like literally anybody with any kind of economic background, would agree with what he states. So thank you for confirming that. Um, but I'm here to just sort of talk about the fact that this reality is happening where you're gonna see it's one or the other. It's either one, um, the value of stocks or whatever you're holding on to isn't going to decrease, but in a sense, it will with inflation because everything else will go up in price. The actual things, the actual goods, such as food. That's why it, I've been saying for the longest time, I'm thinking about farming, and people think I'm going to be farming for a business. But I said, no, actually, maybe I should because I do believe that like our basic necessities, those are the things that will go up in price. You know, I said I'm gonna farm in a sense that I'm just gonna get like a countryside home and have a little garden so that I can, I'm not subject to the whims of inflation. And I don't think people understood me at that point. Who's that guy that always is like trolling on this? His it's like Wallfly or whatever. He's like, I think I'm gonna just buy. Like, there's never gonna be a situation, guys. I stand by this. I think that food costs, it's gonna eventually catch up. It's gonna go up in the future. There's several reasons, not only just for inflationary reasons, but just our social, like how things are changing. Everyone is going into cities. Women, just I don't want to blame women, but so far women have been able to cook and prepare food, for families. That's no longer the case. It's just food costs are going to go up. So um, supply and demand. There's going to be less supply for it, and the demand is going to be just as high or higher. So that's why I was thinking about buying like a nice countryside home here in Korea for like 30, 40, $50,000, having my own little garden. I experimented with that. You guys saw the video where I have a little garden in my home in Yangpyeong, and I was like, how hard is this? Um, I tilted the land. You saw that video. It took a day or two, and then I just planted some seeds. And Korea, it rains quite a lot, so it's like the hardest problem was actually not growing it, but it's like, what do you do once it grows? Because like I had to, like, whenever it rains, like the lettuce grows, and then you cut it off, and then it rains again, the lettuce grows again. I'm like, holy shit, we have so much lettuce. So it pretty much grows itself, I think. I don't plan on doing any large scale farming because then, yeah, I'd be tied down to it. That would be my career. It's a lot of work, but It's not a bad, like a lot of Koreans have little gardens, and they grow like some of the basic stuff, like lettuce, spring onions, things like this. They grow really fast, so and it's really low maintenance. And it may not see it. I mean, right now they do it because they want things that are organic and healthy for you. You know, but I do think going forward in the future, it's going to definitely save a lot on the cost. And my life is all about just sort of saving on costs, so that I can save my time not slaving away and doing other things. Um, living off the land, nice, good for the health too. Yeah, definitely. That's what I say. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's going like this because you know I'm not gonna have to preach to you guys. You're in the States, you're feeling it more than I was surprised, as a matter of fact, just how much costs have gone up in the States as far as foods. My friends are telling me like a bowl of pho is like $17, and I couldn't believe it. I thought they were just exaggerating. It was like that in the most expensive places. Because I'm like, well, when I left, the bowl of pho was like $4 and $5 at the more fancier places. How the heck did it inflate that much? Because the numbers I'm seeing is like, oh, it inflated 30% since last year, but it's like, compounding, rates of inflation, I guess. But yeah, guys, I don't want to be the bringer of bad news, but financial independence is going to be harder and harder because it is it is not possible for most of the world to be financially independent, right? So if the average Joe can be completely financially independent, something has to give. That's not the way the world works. The way the world works is everybody pitches in and works, you know. Um, like some people's work is valued more than others, but the dynamics of that is changing as well, you know. Um, the work you do, finding good stocks, investing in it, pushing a button, that is gonna be less and less likely to be valued in the future. And that's how it's trending. If you just look at all the sort of social justice types of things that are going, what is the latest thing, that the ESG matrices, the environmental, social, and governance matrices that they're putting out on there? It's like, even just the fundamentals of economics, that's not how it's supposed to work, you know um but together with all this, the new ESG matrices, all the social justice types of things that are going on, you're gonna start to see less and less likely those types of capital being valued less and less and less. It's just, to this point, capital was valued way too much over labor. So, what does this mean in simpler terms? Meaning, basically, somebody who's working as a waiter or waitress, serving you, is gonna be due and be valued far more than they have been in the past, than even somebody who has like a very specialized type of job, you know? Because income inequality has just become too big. And when income inequality happens, it's not simply the fact that people who are smarter and put their time in, get what is due. It's not just simply like that. When it comes to economics, when income inequality becomes too big, you have um, inflation, because if the upper part has way too much cash, then eventually the prices of the basic goods are going to have to catch up. You know, you can only value luxury goods so much more over basic goods and necessities. And y- unless somehow we could valuate cars, or luxury cars, or luxury things at maybe like 1,000 times, you know over just basic necessities, because that's how the inequality is happening, and people in the upper class that have like 1,000 times more wealth are willing to spend consistently 1,000 times more on everything that is luxury, and then the economics won't work. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but unfortunately, the people in the upper class are becoming more and more penny pinching, you know? So then you're going to have equalization of luxury goods and consumer goods. And then you would have to have equalization in values, because consumer, like just the basic goods, would just inflate in price too much. There's just way too much cash floating out there. You have to be like, for this to work, rich people have to be just spending stupid money, you know. That's the only way that giving stupid amounts of money to rich people can work economically, you know. So people who are financially independent should be, you know, financially independent to a point, like when they're making income off of just like doing nothing, but just distributing capital to a point where they could just go and spend stupid amounts of money, you know, like I guess in your case it'd be like going to Southeast Asia, and if you're gonna get a soapy massage, you should be paying like 1,000 times more, like $1,000, not $100, you know. Yeah, then the economics would sort of equal out. But that's not going to happen. We're like becoming penny pinching, and we're thinking, hey, you know, we could just like get this unlimited amounts of free money in the market, and me just, you know, having a couple tens of thousands of dollars and it compounding at 20% year over year. You know, if you're expecting that, it's just not feasible. So going forward, you know, there's probably going to be some kind of a reset. And I think it's finally happening. I think it should have happened earlier. Now I'm actually very concerned about what this means, because it's not just simply like '07, you know, the sub, or the, you know, the dot-com crash, where you just have the upper echelon just have a bit of their wealth wiped out from, you know, stocks, um, the bubble breaking, and that. I think it's now I'm like really concerned. I myself, you know, like people think, oh, Ethan, you're just sort of, you know, going in Asia, just enjoying your life and just waiting for everything to reset. You know, I'm not saying this in a way that I'm gloating over this, because it's something that I'm concerned about, because I think this could really trigger some geopolitical issues as well. Just because I really don't even know how this is going to work. I can't really even say there's going to be hyperinflation per se, because hyperinflation has to happen where your currency has to devalue in relation to everything else out there. But not only is every other currency sort of overpriced, although I think the dollar is inflated way more than others. Um, it's different this time around, because America did the very clever thing to basically make the dollar the freaking standard that everything trades on. So I don't know if hyperinflation could actually happen to the dollar, but if it doesn't prevent it from happening to currency in general, you know, because if the dollar could still inflate and hyperinflate, which could cause other currencies to hyperinflate, and which would then have every other country lose faith in the dollar, and then we would have to go back to the gold standard or something. You know, this was an experiment, guys. Since this, it was it the '70s when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard? I mean, it, this experiment of, you know, having currency based on nothing but the credit of a country, just saying, hey, you know, I'm a country that's good for my money, um this is an experiment that's only a couple decades old. This concept has never existed in world history. So we're quickly seeing the effects of that. because we're not able to properly evaluate currency, and greed just is endless. And you know, I'm not being very I'm not just talking shit on just Republicans, because it was Clinton that freaking deregulated the financial, like the banks and shit, which actually had the 90s do really good economically, and then it reset a little bit in the dot com. But it was him that freaking is also a big part of the issue that we have. So it's just Democrats and Republicans in general. We've been just horrible with managing currency and valuation. So we're gonna have to pay the price for it. We've had a good run. I hope you guys enjoyed your life up to this point. Making easy money, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be a bad thing, but my heart does go out to those people who have been responsible and saving, because that's what everybody tells you you should be doing, and it's a responsible thing to do. Because it's like everything is gonna crash, and it's not like I'm gonna be any better off anyway. That's why I'm a bit concerned about saying this, and I hope I'm wrong, because I'm one of the more financially responsible guys too. So what was the point of buying that home in Bangkok and stuff like this? And going on that point, ah, yeah, historically, large wealth inequality has also caused massive civil unrest and violent protests, not good for governments on the average Joe. Yeah, and that good point. I was at like, this is the other thing I'm gonna make. I was gonna try to make, and it's that inequality, just from an economic macroeconomics point of view, it just cannot exist. Eventually, something has to equalize, etc. But just talking about just world history, whenever you have massive inequality, there is civil unrest. Go back to the French Revolution. Um, Go back to even the Roman Empire. Uh, uh, you cannot have inequality. No matter, I mean, you might be in the upper echelon, the upper middle class, and you're still nothing compared to, you know, the oligarchs, the billionaires. Trust me, you're still a slave. You're just still working day to day. We all know this. You know this if you're there. Um, but this concept that you think you're better than that average Joe, and you should be earning 10 times as much as that guy that's serving you food. Yeah, you should probably get over yourself, because really you're not. You're just a cog in the wheel. Because that's the same way that the the billionaires think, and actually more. They believe if you actually put your income as a ratio, like, to the average Joe that's serving you, compared to your income to the average billionaire, you're far less significant to them than that average Joe that's serving you whatever, crumpets and cookies, you know? Um, so yeah, in the end, we're just really all nothing, in this big financial sense. And I think that's a realization I got to learn, working in the banking industry for 13 years, being there for the dot com and the '07 crash. It's You realize this. Money is made as easily as it is taken away. So this kind of, guys, just don't, like, the point of the thing is, I don't want to be talking too much about that, but whether or not the downturn in the market continues or it stabilizes, hopefully, I hope it does, because I hope my 401k doesn't freaking go to crap either. um, this idea of this financial stability, I hope you guys are sort of seeing the light, this like financial freedom, that it doesn't exist in the super long term, you know. We've just had some ridiculously great years in the market because we've had unprecedented Fed rates at basically negative percentage. Literally, the Fed was giving money away, not free, but incentivizing taking free money to the banks for quantitative easing. It's just unprecedented stupidity on a long-term scale. That we've gotten to a point where there's really no more tools left to stop what is happening here. This is Bitcoin. Sorry. And for those of you guys who thought Bitcoin is a freaking hedge, I said this for the longest time too. I mean, Bitcoin is more volatile. So when times are good, it's going to be better than stocks. But when times are bad, it's going to be worse than stocks, right? Because Bitcoin inherently doesn't hold more value than stocks, as stocks don't inherently hold more real value than real estate or food, basic necessities, for example. All right. So yeah, that's what you're seeing here. Like those guys were saying, but Bitcoin was 66 million. Now it's 30. It lost half its value year to date. But hey, you guys had a good time here. Like this is ridiculous. Something that's worth like nothing that we made up values for, it went up that much. So you're still winning. I think that's what it is. Like I think everything is sort of a Ponzi scheme, and I don't think Ponzi schemes are inherently like a bad investment. Ponzi schemes are great investments if you get in the beginning. So if you were able to recognize that, man, I mean, you guys are doing fantastic because you went from like zero to hero, and you're still, a hero in my opinion. So, but I just like don't be the idiots that are getting in at the freaking bottom of the pyramid, right? That's all I'm saying. But like, was it Nasdaq? I think it took a 4% plunge today. Like it was 4.8, and then Dow Jones just took a. Why is this not actually showing and as DAC index? Why is it not? Stupid. Why? Wow, yeah, it took a big plunge today. It's not been doing good. Nasdaq year to date, it's just been going down, down, down. So yeah, there's nothing that's good. There's nothing that the government can do right now to stop this. As a matter of fact, they're doing the opposite because what you're supposed to do, balancing out inflation with economic activity. This is like, I understand presidents why they do that. Trump doesn't want the bubble to pop on his watch, so he kept the rates low, which he shouldn't have. But you can't even blame Trump because Barack Obama should have also, pushed the Feds to raise the rates. But he did it. He wouldn't have wanted to have the economic downturn on his watch either. So like this has been continually happening. And now it's to a point where they have no choice but to raise rates when this is happening, So they have literally no more tools left for QE. They also can't print free money. They already did that for the pandemic. They printed so much free money for unemployment, for whatever, that now is just our currency so devalued. You can't just like keep printing free money and expect to not pay for it in some way eventually. It's like, it's not magic, guys. If you understand economics, you understand there's a give and take, and this is where we've just been giving for so long and just delaying the take with all these QE measures of 0% and prime rates, etc. That now they're gonna take it away. And what should you do? How are we gonna live life? That's the thing. How is Korea treating Do Kwon? He being villainized. Do Kwon? Who's Do Kwon? Do Kwon? The new president, his name is Yoon something something. While you expand on that, I'll go ahead and finish this monologue. But yeah, guys, the way that I've been living, and will continue to live, is, I want to continually be valuable to people, be creating something. And a lot of people think I'm trying to make a living off of YouTube, and um, that's not necessarily true because, uh, I've realized a long time ago that YouTube doesn't pay much. People think like YouTubers are making this crap up when we say YouTube doesn't pay much because, like, I don't know, maybe they think we're trying to appeal to your empathy and sympathy and justify why we're getting donations and stuff, which, I'm really grateful to you guys for having provided over the years. But it's the truth. YouTube doesn't pay much. They used to pay me about $70, and now they decided to tax that at a higher rate. So now I think I make about $40 a month. Tell me, like, that doesn't even pay for my camera. My camera that I just bought is $3,000. 40 times 12 is like, it paid for a third of that camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, YouTube doesn't pay. So it's sort of ridiculous. Like, some of you guys must think I make a lot of money on that. So you're like, your views are down. You need to go back to Thailand so you can get your views up to survive. I mean, I appreciate the concern, but this is the reality, guys. If I go back to Thailand and let's say my views go up by five times more, like, which is more than what I was getting like back then, right? My views are actually up, by the way, because YouTube algorithm is finally changing and they're recommending my videos to people that aren't just only interested in Thailand. So my click-through rate is increasing. So like some of the other videos I'd done, it was getting like 1,500 views, starting out, which was actually what I was getting in Thailand. But let's just imagine a world where Ethan's getting like 5 times as much views. Like, I'm pulling in like 10,000 views a video to start out with, and they go up, and I'm getting like 50,000 on some of them. I'm only going to be making $250 ish. So that's the reality, guys. You think I'm going to be going back to Thailand to be making $250 ish? Is not. It's like, life ain't easy. You guys know I work really hard to get these videos edited and stuff. I certainly deserve more than 250, I think. But I do it because I enjoy making these videos, capturing these moments, documenting life for you guys out here. Even if it's 400 people that appreciate it, I'm capturing it and telling it the way that I see it, authentically as I can, without freaking making crap up, and selling myself out for $250. You know what I'm saying? That's a miserable life. So no, I'm not. That's why I don't chase the views. I couldn't. Maybe maybe if I was pulling in millions of views, yeah, maybe I could sell out. I'm not gonna say like everyone has a price, right? But for the first, like I'm not gonna be pulling in thousands of dollars doing YouTube. I know this already. So that's why I always stay flexible. I think that's the most important thing being out here in Asia. People are like, Ethan, how much do I need to retire comfortably out here in Thailand? And you go through all my comments, not like every one of my comments since the start of YouTube, me starting of YouTube, I have always said it's like it seems like I'm being very vague because I don't know what I'm saying or whatever, but I know what I'm talking about, guys. There is like there isn't amount that is ever enough, and there isn't an amount that there is like, enough. It's like if I say $2,000, for example, that should be more than enough. But even if I said $500, that should be more than enough because I've survived off $500. You guys want to come to Asia because you watch me and I'm surviving off $500. So why couldn't you? But then if you had even $2,000, you would say this isn't enough because that's just how human beings are. We never have enough, you know. Um, that's that's why you keep working, you know. Um, so the most important thing is having some kind of flexibility in your mindset, and being here in Korea, I've just one of the reasons I've sort of lost passion for, I'm going to say some of my subscribers and stuff is I just realized they're hopeless. I've been preaching to them forever this mindset that you just need to come and at least travel here, or live here for at least a year, and you would understand that you don't need all that money, you know? But they just keep hitting me up for economics, like blah 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 blah. Yeah, I sort of know the economics, probably more than most, and probably more than I'm putting it out to be. But if you know the economics, you would know that it's rigged. It's at the end, it's irrelevant. And the only thing that really matters is how flexible you are with your mindset. But when I see them so set on certain ideas, like it has to be Southeast Asia and it has to be under this pretext of I need to have enough dividend paying stocks, or I need to have enough crypto to make this much income over a year to have financial independence so I could have this kind of cost, and I'm going to base that on analyzing 100 how much does it cost to live a day in Thailand, cost of living in Thailand videos and crap like this. It's like I've already lost you guys then, it's I myself, I did cost of living in Thailand videos, but maybe it was my mistake. I like what I was trying to prove is I did it so that I showed you the cheapest way to live, so that you know that even with $500 you can make it out here, you know. But then, unfortunately it gets interpreted in other ways, and people are interpreting it as, oh, that's not the lifestyle I want. I want to know the lifestyle if I was about to go out every night. I'm like, okay, then you're already losing the point of this video. But why it's irrelevant is there is inflation, as you guys all see. And unless you're coming out today, tomorrow, and retiring, none of the figures that I'm going to give you is going to matter, because all of that is going to change in 5 to 10 years. But the only thing that matters is how flexible you are and willing to accept that as long as you're flexible, you can survive anywhere. Because if you can survive in America, I have confidence that you can survive out here in Asia. Because to me, life out here in Asia is far more simpler and easier. And, that's why you also hear me, like whenever people ask me, hey, what Ethan, what's your plans of coming back to America? I have none. I have less plans of going back to America than I have of going back to Thailand, because I know I can survive out here, because I'm constantly flexible, reinventing myself. Let me go ahead and catch up on this. Terra founder. Luna Terra crash? The heck? I would have to research it. When you say Terra, then I'm thinking of the most popular beer in Korea right now, which is Terra. Is that? But it's not Luna. Isn't that some kind of Bitcoin crypto? Okay, but going forward, where was I? I was leaving off. You need to be flexible. Okay, so I'll summarize what's happening to me. Okay, so what does this actually mean? What is Ethan doing to be flexible? So how is he making ends meet? People keep asking me this question. It's hard for me to answer because I just make ends meet in different ways at different points in my life. That is like the actual exactly how I'm making ends meet is different year to year, you know, because the market and the industry changes, the opportunities that I get changes. So I can't talk about all the different ways I made my ends meet, but for example, right now, why I'm busy and sometimes you don't actually see it translate into the videos is having made my contacts here with the Korean tourism, management companies, organizations like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here and the Korean Tourism Organization and the Seoul Tourism Organization, et cetera, et cetera. I've realized that I'm valued more for my ability to create quality videos than I am at being an influencer per se. Because there's other people, if you're a cute girl and you post up a pic, you're gonna get millions of views. That's just the reality of it, right? But the reality of it is because it's like they get such easy views and such. They also don't invest a lot of time in learning how to make videos or edit. Like I've realized, so like most of these top end producers, like influencers, they don't know how to make decent videos, because they don't need to. And that's what they should do. They should focus on putting out as much content they can and being an influencer and getting a lot of clicks and making money that way. So that provides an opportunity to me, which is, hey, I might not be getting a lot of views, but the value of me as a content creator is far more. And I never want to compete with other guys. So people are like, hey, Ethan, there's this guy in Thailand. His name is Live Travel Thailand or some crap like that. Or there's this other guy doing the same thing you're doing, and he's getting all your views. And I'm like, when people say that, like you would, like, I don't know, some people might be like, oh, he's copying me and like be jealous and stuff. But I consider myself an artist, and what does that mean, an artist? Like, if you're an artist, you're not there to chase views or chase money. I'm not going to be completely hypocritical and say I don't want the views or money, because there is a certain amount of base amount you need to survive. But ultimately, my pride, my ego is in creating unique content. And if there's other people imitating me, I feel like flattered, like, wow. But at the same time, I feel like my work is done, you know. And 4 or 5 years ago, there was nobody saying, hey, look at Bangkok, Thailand, look how amazing it is. I realized this living here, that nobody knows, and I made videos about it. But I believe my work is done now. I think it's to a point where now it's like the messaging is in the opposite end. They're making it out to be better than it actually is, because in every sense, Bangkok isn't better now. I don't think everybody that has actually gone to Bangkok lately has, when I talk to them, because I'm curious too. I'm thinking about going back eventually. They're like, dude, Ethan, I'm jealous because you were there at the best time. It's like dead. I go to Nana or whatever, it's like 30%. you know, and I'm not surprised, because even before I was leaving, prior to COVID, it was just dying. It's just the whole culture there, as far as the nightlife and everything, is just dying. The younger generation just isn't as interested in it as much anymore. The government has been conservative for the last 7, 8 years. It's enough to a point where it's changed the dynamics of a whole generation of people. um, they don't know how to party. They never lived under a situation where they party. Like some of the older guys, like, in their 30s and stuff, like my age, yeah, they were there in Thailand, and they know what it was when things were happening and partying, and I like hanging out with them more to some degrees than the younger kids, because the younger kids don't know how to party because they never experienced it in their life. Like seriously, they grew up in a point where they've always had curfews where clubs have to close at 12 o'clock and stuff like this. So where the government just actively, just sort of says that this is not a good thing to do, clubbing and stuff and having a good time. It's not what it used to be. Just go to RCA and just compare my videos from 5 years ago to what it is now. And my videos from 5 years ago was already at a point when it was already dead, because before, when I was not vlogging, that whole street every Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be blocked off because they would have to move the club, Route 66 Onyx, out to the street because it was just overcrowded. Now it's just like you can have taxis drive through there, So it's just why would I go back there when it's clearly not as good as it was before, and it's just trending to be worse and worse and worse as far as the nightlife and the stuff that I like, and be disingenuously trying to tell you guys and convince you guys that it's the place you should be. You know what I'm saying? It's and make $250 off of it. No, guys. So if you have this idea, like, I don't know. I think the guys that are on here that are watching me right now aren't part of that crowd. But if you think you can convince me to do that by, pointing out my views, don't even try. It's just, I'm just living with you guys on this. Let's see. Go back to Thailand. I really enjoyed the Thailand travel vlogs. Things were fun before the pandemic and all vlogs. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go back to Thailand, as maybe this was a little bit too late on the early, but I just explained why. I know that you enjoy my Thailand vlogs. I enjoy my Thailand vlogs. Nothing about what I said about Thailand changed, but at that point, right? But I'm not gonna be enjoying myself in Thailand right now. It's clear. First of all, Maya's not even there. I mean, what am I gonna go and do there? Go into like half-packed clubs and stuff and try to hype it up and say it's good? No. Right now, just in that sense, like as far as the stuff that I enjoy, the nightlife, the drinking, everything, it's much better in Korea, and to top it off, it's actually even more affordable. Yeah, I mean, this is something that might blow some people's mind and they still can't wrap their heads around. But if I go to Route 66, and then I would have to order like at least one of those drinks, let's say, right? Like Jack and Coke or Long Island. It's the same price here. Like if I go to a nicer, like a nicer bar here, I'm paying less than that, probably like $7. But there I pay $10 because the luxury tax on alcohol is huge. Or I'm forced to get beer, which I don't particularly like, which is just as expensive, around $7, $8 at those clubs. Or I would have to get a bottle of whiskey, which is like $80. Here in Korea, I could get a bottle of soju for $3 at a restaurant or a club or whatever. Yeah, $3. Well, I mean, one of the, like a Long Island, like a freaking girly cocktail is gonna get me about as drunk as half a bottle of soju. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as far as just the drinking culture and everything, it's just far better here. That's just a summary, but there's just many other ways why it's better. It's just there's far more people out here partying. Um, Anybody who's partied there recently in Thailand and has partied here in the nightlife here, everybody I've talked to, there is not a single person so far that says, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, Korea sucks." Now that like all the like post-pandemic mandates and stuff have come off, it's just, oh my gosh, Korea is like, the nightlife here is just ridiculous. It's so packed. But actually, that's not even the main thing. I sort of have to be thankful for the pandemic because I myself, I've realized that I actually really like traveling, like sort of like the countryside areas. And yeah, I'm not gonna be driving around the motorcycle in the countryside areas of Thailand. I mean, it's not that I haven't. I've driven cars and I feel like my life is endangered. Just watch my vlog on my trip to Khao Yai. You will just see like the kind of craziness that is happening on the road. I just captures just like little bits of moments of it because that's not what I wanted the vlog to be about. But you could already sort of get a sense. It's dangerous. I showed you guys the statistics. Korea has one of the safest roads in the world. It's like twice as safe as America statistically. And America is about twice as safe as Thailand statistically. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that as far as the numbers concerned, but you can just take it from me as well. The roads in Thailand are just ridiculous. The only place I'm willing to really drive a motorcycle on a regular basis is Bangkok, contrary to what people think, because the more crowded an area is, the less likely you're gonna be involved in some fatality with some freaking overloaded truck that is driving 100 miles per hour that can't stop, like that kind of stuff that happens in the countryside there. In Bangkok, you're just weaving through parked cars basically. So that's the only reason I'm willing to do that there. And even at, it's not like I think it's a completely safe thing to do, but it's all relative, right? It's not the complete safest thing to do to be in one of those tuk-tuks either. So whatever the case, just everything is here. But as far as like these are just like my personal sort of enjoyment things. If it's one or two things I just realized at this point. If you guys don't find my Korea vlogs fun, it's one, I'm just not doing a good job of making it look fun, or two, you and I have different perceptions of what is fun, you know? And whenever I hear comments like this, go back to Thailand, let me tell you what goes through my mind. It actually encourages me to make more videos about Korea. Why? Because that's the only two possible reasons. Either one, I'm just not doing a good enough job of making these videos about Korea, or two, you and I are different. So if you and I, okay, so let me just talk about two possibilities. If you and I are different, I'm sorry, but I sort of need to have you not watch my videos so that YouTube doesn't recommend my videos in the algorithm to you, so that you don't get counted as a non-click through for my videos. Because the click-through rate is the most important thing in making my videos go viral. So as a matter of fact, I mean, I almost want to start a new channel and create a new viewer base and just sort of abandon this channel until, I go back to Southeast Asia, and then maybe, the stuff I, make on there, you guys would actually click on it. Um, but yeah, that's the thing. Now I'm just sort of forcing YouTube to change this algorithm. And if you don't click on it enough times, then my videos just won't show up on your recommended list. So then you wouldn't count towards negative click-through rate. Because when I see the algorithm and I look at the demographics, the new viewer bases that I'm getting from India and the Philippines, the click-through rates are really good. So I know it's not the fact that my videos are just unattractive. It's just being shown to the wrong audience. So that's one possibility. Or the other possibility is that I'm just not doing a good enough job of showing how good Korea is. In which case, it just makes me more motivated as a filmmaker, as an artist, to start making videos in different ways so that it is appealing. And to that degree, I have to admit I've sort of failed you guys. I think I haven't been doing a very good job of showing why I like Korea, because I think I've been so sort of afraid of telling you guys. I'm not afraid. What do I say? I've been so like focused on giving more generic reasons for why like I enjoy living and traveling in Korea, that I've sort of left out my personal reasons, you know? So this year, I'm trying to level with you guys a lot more and giving you my more personal reasons for why I like living and traveling in Korea. And it seems I mean, so far it seems like that might be the reason, because the videos that have been very personal, they've gotten like 3 times as much views, so like my midlife crisis video, or video about why I'm not going back to Thailand. Maybe because it was clickbait. I don't know. I don't know. But you guys tell me. But for whatever reason, those videos have done like 3-4 times better, where I'm just sitting there and talking about my personal reasons for why I'm here in Korea. And there's a video I'm getting. It's currently being subtitled into Korean because the organizers for that trip like my video so much they think even Koreans should watch this. So they're currently subtitling my video into Korean, which is a daunting task because it's like a 20-minute video where I'm just talking and talking like this. So, but they're willing to translate it into Korean for free for me. So I'm waiting to do that, like make that public. But it's this video called The Real Korea. Actually, I don't know what I'm going to title it, but it's going to be something like The Real Korea Jeollado, which is the western province here, Jeollado. Why I think that's the real Korea. And you'll see more videos coming out of that region, because you'll just have to watch that video to understand. But there's a reason I like that province. It's a lesser known province, and although I've always wanted to make videos about that province, it's been hard for me because most of the tourism organizations and stuff, they are primarily based out of Seoul, and so I'm doing a lot of Seoul content or Gyeonggi content around here, and they it's more K-pop-ish and stuff like that, which I personally am not that interested in myself. And or they would do the northeastern or southeastern provinces, which is just already covered. And I don't think it's the real Korea myself personally. But now my influence has become wide enough that I think I could like literally just only do content around there, and make it work, because it's hard to do content around there, because it's not like people are organizing tours or whatever. I have to pay everything out of my cost. I have to pay for the gas, I have to pay for the lodging, and I have to pay for everything. So I either need one, sponsors, or Is there anything like I need sponsors basically because YouTube ain't gonna pay for it. What, $70? That's gonna pay for 2 nights of hotel stay. How am I gonna make a month worth of content out of there, out of just YouTube? So I basically need some kind of sponsors. So different ways. Sometimes I get commissioned to make videos there for other people's channels, like YouTube channels or like promotional videos. They'll pay me like $500 or whatever, and then I'll spend an extra 2-3 days and make my own content. That's how I make ends meet. Or like sometimes I'll be lucky enough where I met this one company called Travel Shoot, and he himself is a documentary director, but now he's sort of slowing down his life and doing more travel content. And he also likes that Cholado region, being that he's from there. So I'm doing a lot of stuff with him. I just got back from another province, Ulchen, which is not Cholado, but it was an area that was hit by those wildfires. I don't know if you guys probably don't care about Korea, so you don't know, but like Korea had like the worst fires like in recorded history. It devastated that whole region. They didn't have money allocated to help with increasing tourism there, which all these like countrysides have to do because all the people are leaving. So they have to rely on tourism sort of in the future. So, but they couldn't because they have all these refugees. And he decided he was gonna try to help them out for free, and he took me along, and he's like, I can't pay you, but I'll cover for your, trip. And the county there, they can't pay you, but they're at least like, make all the lodging. They'll provide us the lodging. And they even like, man, I wish I took videos of the food, but the food is like so fantastic. They got us like, the local cuisine was good, but so it's like good stuff, right? Like I didn't make money off that, but I'm helping out a region that's in need, and meeting these people and connecting with them, and got real close, and now those ladies want us back. Like before, when we're leaving, it's just like it's like this kind of connection and appreciation and all that. It's just at another level than what I experienced in Thailand, and I've been there for a long time, guys. It's like if I did the same thing I did for Thailand as far as making it aware and stuff, Korea would have given me some kind of medal. I mean, right now I'm already getting like certificates from of appreciations from like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and stuff like that here. Meeting like high people in the government just for what I think is very basic stuff. Just going on trips with them and saying, I'm having a fantastic time on a trip. Like, how could I not? Like this is, and they give me awards for it. But yeah, guys, if you're not really feeling my Korea videos, I I will try to make them better. And if you still don't feel like you like them, no offense taken, you can unsubscribe and not watch me. As a matter of fact, it would help my algorithm if you did. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. When am I gonna go back to Thailand? If everything goes according to plan, at the end of this year for winter, I will go. I will probably get a 60-day tourist visa, and most likely not even stay 60 days because it seems like I'm getting a lot of work here. Because I had a 3-year plan here. The first year was I'm going to try to just make as many contacts as I can because I don't know anybody here. Second year, I was trying to just get as many jobs as I can and do as great of a job as I can to show them, like increase my value as a content creator. And the third year, I was gonna make money making content, being more selective about my content. But already I'm like, things are moving fast, and I'm already like sort of going into year 3 stage right now, where I'm being more selective about the stuff I make. Not gonna like accept $50 or $70 to make content. I'm gonna accept like at least $300 to $500. Hopefully I get to $1,000. I made a couple videos last year for $1,000, which you didn't see because it wasn't for my channel. So if I could do that, then with that money, I could go on trips, not to Thailand, actually. I'm planning on going to Japan for like a month. That's my first thing because Mayu's there. And then I'm gonna probably go to Taiwan for a month because I feel that that's a place that needs to be documented right now. And I was gonna go to the Philippines, but the Philippines is just looking less and less attractive to me, to be honest, guys. Maybe Indonesia for another month after that. Then I really want to do India, but India is, it's always been attractive to me, but India actually seems to be more and more attractive to me as the years go by. You know what I'm saying? Like in some countries, I feel like the years are less kind, like Thailand. Like things are just becoming too gentrified. But India is so wild that I would prefer it to be more gentrified when I go. So India, although India is on top of my list of places I really want to go to, it is a country I'm like pushing off to the side, like I'm waiting on for it to be the right time to go to. So yeah, so like that's why I'm making money, guys. I'm not making money to retire early in Thailand and freaking just do nothing. That would be the death of me. Why the heck would I want to do that when there's so many other amazing countries here to live and travel in, right? So I'm making money to do that and show you guys those aspects, and compare and contrast what's good about those countries, and what might not be as good. But most likely you'll see stuff me saying what's good, because here's another thing, guys. One of the reasons you might not think Thailand is as bad as it may be is because it's illegal for me to say anything negative about Thailand, or any other viewers to say anything negative about Thailand. So you have to sort of just read between the lines and go, well, this guy never says this is good about it, but he does about another country, so that probably means that this isn't good. You know what I'm saying? And the freedom of speech is just getting ridiculous in Thailand. I mean, you can already see in the index, it's really bad. The freedom of speech isn't just like, oh, it's just an Asian country where it's bad. No, it's like ranked like somewhere down there with China. It's really bad, the freedom of speech there. So like as an influencer, we're muzzled from actually being authentic there. Like, I mean, there's still ways to be authentic about it because there's so many amazing things about Thailand. Nothing I've said about Thailand is not untrue. Everything I like about Thailand, I still like about Thailand. It's a really chill place. Love the weather, the people are fantastic, etc. None of that's changed. But read between the lines when I say these are the things that are great about Korea. Most likely it's not good about Thailand. It's so unbearable. I just can't say it, and I'm not gonna be here. It's just not good to be bashing other countries or whatever, because it's all relative too. Who knows? If I go to other countries, I might appreciate even the stuff that I didn't appreciate in Thailand, right? So it is what it is as far as that's concerned. Yeah, traveling through Asia will surely be fun. Korea looks good too, and the restrictions are easing, so there will be much more see and do. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so that is what it is. I'm just gonna sort of have to wrap it up here because, like, for example, guys, like my schedule is crazy. Um, I'm sort of making excuses, but hope you understand. For example, I just got back from a trip to Ulchin, right? Um, and that was Monday, Tuesday, and then I only have one day to rest, Wednesday, and then today I'm going to do a temple stay for 2 days. So that's Thursday, Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, I'm gonna go to a southeastern province in Jeollado, southwestern, called Mokpo, with the Korean Tourism Organization. Literally, I only have one day to rest. And what was I doing on Sunday? Sunday, I had a famous documentary director, Ed Vanner, come, and that's like another part of my job. Not only am I creating, like, I'm actually like working with documentary directors. So since I speak Korean and English, I was a fixer that day, meaning like I'm the local guy that guides them. So this famous documentary director, I think they're making for like an English Channel 5, some documentary with this one singer, I forgot, Arnold Armstrong, I believe his name is. But anyways, I had to take him around and set up shoots with him. That was Sunday. And then Saturday was relatively a free day, but I had two business meetings, like one lunch, one dinner. Friday, I was shooting the Hanbok video, which I made public, right? So you could tell, like, there's a lot of work because in between there, I had time to edit that video and upload it, right? And then Thursday, I was shooting the Yeongdeungpo video, and you'll see that coming out, which is like Yeongdeungpo Healing City. That's more of commercial stuff, but I think it's like pretty authentic, um, because nothing I say on there is not untrue. You'll see it's like a 3-minute video. It's very highlighty, but I think you will be interested to find out that the center of Seoul is actually not uh, what's it called, Gangnam, um, and how dynamic like just even one district of Seoul can be. Like, for example, that district Yeongdeungpo is the size of Bangkok. I kid you not. Like, one district in Korea, in Seoul, is the size of Bangkok. Like, just wrap that around your head. Um, so people just really think of Seoul as like some very small city. It's the second largest metropolitan area in the world. Bangkok comes nowhere close to it. And it's also the second most densely populated area in the world. I mean, considering there's cities like Bombay and stuff, wrap your head around that too. You know, it's Seoul is just crazy, guys. So I'm just doing a video about one district, and you will see how pretty dynamic that area is. Although, I mean, there's only so much I could do shooting in 4 hours, but yeah, I couldn't cover all of it for sure. I just covered some highlights of it in a 3-minute video. But yeah, I was editing that too. So in between all that, like, do you see a schedule for me to actually edit? Well, I was editing in the train. I was editing, overnight after I got back from like a full day of working. I was editing. So please forgive me that I can't do these live streams. I'm really busy these days. But I'm very fortunate to be, wanted here and being appreciated for my talents. And considering all this economic downturn here, it's something we all need to be doing, doing something that is valuable. Don't be counting on financial independence from saving a little bit of money and getting like 20-30% return on stocks. That's not something that you can count on for the rest of your life. It's just economically not possible. There always has to be some kind of give and take in economics. It's something that it's not something that you should not be doing at all either, because it's definitely, when times are good, it's good. And but I think it's something that you should consider as like a cherry on top. Like, if it happens, then it's great. Like, remember my video about not expecting expectations in life? Don't expect it to always go up, and you'll be far more grateful for it if it does, right? And when it goes down, it's not going to be that big of a deal, right? I'm not going to say it's not a not deal at all, because I myself, I think this is a big deal, but I'm having a fantastic time out here because I never counted on this crap to go up, right? I've all my plans I've created, so I don't count on this financial independence fire movement BS, right? That's why I'm working hard to become a better content creator, and I'm keeping flexible. It doesn't have to be just off my YouTube channel. It could be off of creating other people's content. It could be from not even just YouTube, but being involved in documentary film production. Maybe in the future I can even make movies. It's like, I'm very flexible around this. This is how I live out here, not only in Asia, but how I'll probably live for the rest of my life now. And the great thing about it is I'm able to do something I love and enjoy doing every day. You can see I'm pretty tired right now, but I feel so fortunate to be at least doing something I'm happy and passionate about. I'm not sitting there, you know, turning the cogs and the wheels, being a robot for someone, so that I could save a little bit of money and hopefully get financial independence in some kind of low cost of living country. Um, every day, I am talking with people, being with people, and doing things I want with those people that I am happy and passionate about. And that is why nothing anyone can say is gonna make me change that. Just as much as I am unapologetically gonna recommend that y'all live and travel in Asia, I am also unapologetically going to promote Korea and, not go back to Thailand until I want to, because I live on my own terms out here, guys. Not YouTube, my viewers, nobody can change that. Because I don't rely really on anything. And I don't expect anything from anything. But like my expectation video states, if I do get it, if I, receive kindness from this country that I didn't expect, if I receive kindness from my viewers and appreciation for my videos, I am so grateful for it. It doesn't matter, like, I don't, even if I had millions of views, I don't think I'd be any more grateful for those millions of views than I am for the couple hundreds of views and the few of you who are grateful for my videos. I really don't think I could be any more grateful. Like, I am so grateful for you guys. So I hope this sort of gives you a sort of deeper understanding to what I was sort of saying in those videos, because obviously I'm like, okay, I am sort of being a hypocrite. I'm trying to meet your guys' expectations, but it's sort of my expectation too. I think being a great filmmaker, you should be able to say in shorter words and with more images, more things. So I'm trying to keep my vlogs to like 10 to 20 minutes, 10 minutes actually, but ends up being 20. But yeah, I hope all of this sort of fills in the questions you've had about that you may have had, as far as living without expectations and why I'm not going back to Thailand. Good for you. Everyone has their prefer. As you said, it's all relative. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it really is. It's all relative. The one last thing I do want to say is it might sound arrogant of me, um, but I was just having this conversation with this guy, the documentary director, and he made a video. That's too much of an explanation, but what I said was I could relate to him because I'm in a I believe I'm in a distinctly another stage of life than many of you guys. So to summarize, my my childhood years. Okay, my very early childhood was great. I love my grandfather. He treated me so nice. And then I went to Africa and in America as an immigrant, and those years weren't great. It was really tough, you know. I had it was like we're poor. My family is really poor, you know, because it's not like my father is in the ministry, so it's like whenever he has money, he donates it. Um, so it's like I always had like holes in my shoes and stuff, and kids tease me about wearing the same clothes, blah blah blah. Blah. And I think those traumatic years made me an overachiever in my 20s in wanting um, financial independence. Like I guess what a lot of you guys are doing, wanting money, wanting that house, making sure, I have a roof over my head and never have to deal with a landlord that's raising rent or whatever. And I bought my first house when I was 26 in California, right? Um, and I was making six figures in my 20s. And that's not right now. That was back, during the .com and the '07, right? Eras. So I I hope that puts into perspective like how much I pursued that. I've been there, done that. Even my well-off, rich-ass friends who have wealthy parents couldn't afford the same cars, the same house I had, etc. So I had it all in that manner. And that was that phase of life. And I realized, you know what? I'm over this. I'm not happy. I was very certain about that. And I came to Asia and I was in that phase of life where I was just living for myself, like no responsibilities, etc. And I think a lot of you guys are still in that phase. I was in my 20s, maybe still trying to achieve financial independence or whatever, trying to get validation from society that you're wealthy, you're well off, trying to get the car that you want and the house that you want, and then dreaming of a time when you can be like Ethan in Thailand. I think that's what a lot of you guys are at that stage. I may be young, but just like how all the senior loan officers that I work with were 30, 40 years older than me. I'm sort of ahead of that curve because those traumatic years of my childhood made me an overachiever in my 20s, which you don't know about. Um, but now in Korea, I am at another stage of my life than even my Thailand years, where I'm just living for myself, experiencing stuff. And this is really hard to relate to you guys because you would have to have the traumatic experiences that I've had in between those times. It's not saying that you shouldn't go through that phase that I was in Thailand. I think you should. If you're still in that first stage where you're just trying to get validation, earning things and making money and blah, 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 get it, do it. It's like, I'm not going to tell you not to do it because I did it too. Get it, like, have your face printed on newspapers like I did, you know, have the whole Korean American society like sort of know you. You walk into a church, everybody knows you, right? Like you're the guy. Um, you know, drive a nice car, you know, have a nice house, have all the girls want to marry you, do that. And then live life like I did also in Thailand, where it's like, hey, you know what? You don't need that. You can just be free, experience everything on your own. You don't have to worry about how other people are going to see you and portray you. You just, you know, sleep with the girls you want or whatever, you know, sleep with like 10 girls a week if you want, you know, like that. Sleep with 3 different girls at the same time. Do all that because I did that. And then there might be a point in your life where you realize that gets old, and the things that matter to you are the people that are closest to you and care about you. And that was my grandfather passing away. When he passed away, I like a part of me dies because his memory of me, the moments that we shared, are only shared between him and me. And if he dies and I die, you know, then it's completely dead because nobody is there to remember it. And while I'm here documenting, you know, also great memories in Thailand, it's not like I apologize for that or I regret it because I enjoyed it. But what I did regret was not being able to capture those moments, because those moments, although you might not be interested in, who knows, who cares, in that sense, because to me, I care. To me, those moments are special. And I felt like such a bad grandson. But, you know, it's not like I'm blaming myself because, you know, I had to do what I did. But I sort of feel like I regret not knowing how valuable those times are and capturing those moments. So that was a trigger. But ultimately, to summarize, I'm in a phase of my life where family is becoming very important to me. And also making deeper, longer lasting connections. And that's something that Korea has. It's this thing called chung, which is like a sort of attachment. Like Koreans live by this word. I might do a video. I'm planning on doing a video on it, and it's a different philosophy than Thailand, I believe. Um, but there is a deep kind of connection you can receive in Korea. And I don't think it is only me because I have family here, but it is something that I discuss with other expats and they also can relate to as well. And one of the biggest reasons that people leave Thailand, because they're like, well, you know, I can be here for 30 years, but every year I'm having issues renewing my visa, even when I'm married to a Thai person. So yeah, that like you know, I just gotta level with you guys and just say I'm in another phase of my life now. I explained the other 3, 4 phases of my life. If you're still in that phase of your life, it may be hard to relate to a lot of the videos and the philosophies that I talk about, and what I value. So that's what I wanted to also state. And you will probably see me make more videos about that, because that's honestly like, you know, I gotta put things into perspective. One of the main reasons I stay out here in Korea, you know, so that's why, like, a lot of the general reasons, um, it may not be, I might be doing a disservice or not doing a good enough job as a filmmaker in portraying my reasons and why I want to be here in Korea. So you'll see more of that. Anyways, I gotta wrap it up, guys, for sure now. It was good catching up with y'all. And for those of you guys who couldn't catch me right now, hope you enjoyed watching the rerun of this. Feel free to comment below or whatever if you had any additional comments. I appreciate Musa for the comments. That way, I sort of kept on, having like it's good to have feedback so I know what you guys are thinking so I can respond to it. So if you couldn't join us for the stream, just go ahead and comment below, and then I'll try to say it for the next time whenever I got time to do it. All right. Bye bye, guys.